This is Randy Baxter. I'm the president of Asset Positioning Services. You guys know me because you have graduated from class one, which is our suspect class, to our prospecting class. And folks, this is probably the hardest part of the whole marketing process. And if I can get you to learn how to handle that systematically and with low anxiety, you'll watch your income go up. So I call it building a bridge. And this class is building bridges to the prospect. And I just need you to know that it is a process and not a product. And if you're going to be really good at it, you'll learn the process. The products will fall in line. So the question is, what is the logic behind building bridges in the sales process? Imagine you and a suspect are on opposite sides of a raging river. Okay, you can wave at them. Have you ever waved at somebody on the other side of the river? How are you going to get over there to them? Well, I can show you how to do that. So we've already, in the previous class, we've already discussed the definition of a suspect, which is someone you think would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan. I had a talk with a gentleman Friday. When I said that to him, he lit up like a light bulb. And he said, why is everyone in the nation not doing this? I'm going to be honest with you. There's more and more people doing it every day because people are starting to catch on that's an introductory phrase that you can use that you almost never get told no on. So if you're not using it, that's your fault, not mine. Use it. So, but see, your goal is to get your suspect to cross the river and agree to have a conversation with you about their current plan. Not the one you want them to have, not the one you want them to buy, but the one they have right now. And you can do it by using a process we call family tree asset positioning. We'll get to that in a little bit more later. But here's what we need to do to discuss the bridge. You have to convert a suspect to a prospect by identifying a qualified prospect. We've already identified them as a qualifying suspect. But you have to have someone who agrees to talk to you about their estate plan on a favorable basis. Folks, that's one of the easiest things to do because everybody will talk to you about something if they don't think you're going to sell them something real quick. If you're not a product pusher, they'll talk to you about it. They'll have a conversation with you. So you have to keep the goal in mind. Establish the benefit of a discussion about your suspect's current plan. Do so in an intellectually absorbable way and make it a no-brainer to move forward. That's the outline. That's all you need to do. You know, you don't have to come on real salesy. You just need to say, you might hand around to it. We're going to talk about the different ways to do it. Okay. But the thing is, you have to want to do it. And you have to be willing to do it. You have to be able to do it. So, if you do those things, then, I'll be honest with you, you're fertile ground to plow. I can teach you how to go from there all the way up to those $100,000 and $250,000 income so many of you say you want. And there's a whole bunch of ways to do it, to have a $250,000 income. I'm just going to show you what I know and what I do. That's it. I can't show you all the other ways. And you have to decide if the way I show you is appropriate for you. I hope it is. But, once you've decided to approach your suspect, you need to decide on the technique. So, this is when you bring the person what I call a sin plan. It's superior. Your approach is superior to everybody else's approach for an initial conversation to make an appointment. And it will lead you to the front end sale. So how do you do it right? And there is a right way and a wrong way. There's a shortcut and a lazy person's way, but there is one way to do it right each and every time. I get to a point where I've done it so many times, it just comes natural for me to do. But so far, all you have done is choose your target. If you've got your suspect list, all you've done is chosen your target. Some of you, I'll be honest with you, I've got some target lists that are really, really weak, really, really incomplete. And people are expecting to put in garbage and get out a gold mine. You got to put in a good list. So far, all you've done is choose a market. You want to discuss their current plan. I'm sorry, I left out that E. I'll go back in and fix it one day when I get time. Your goal is an appointment, not a sale. Actually, that is a sale. You're selling the appointment. So your goal is an appointment, not a sale, unless the sale is making the appointment. And if you can get good at that, you're going to be busy. You're going to go from stage one in estate planning to stage two very, very quick. So the goal is set the appointment for family estate docs go-to first interview. If you go in and do any other interview, you're breaking the plan. And I told you folks earlier in the suspect class, it's like a wagon train leader leading a group of people on a trail to Oregon. And some people get out to the West Missouri and take a right, and because they think they know what they're doing, and they start changing things. And when the trail boss comes back to check on them, he finds them their wagon burning with arrows in it, or they finds them starved to death, or finds they've abandoned it because they didn't follow the path. So you also put yourself at a disadvantage when you're not sincere about wanting to have the appointment. And then you have to let your suspect know that you want to work with them, but you got to include them in your busy schedule. You have to, if you're not busy, you sure don't want to say it. You don't want to say, "Oh, I can see you anytime next week." That tells them that you're not very busy. Tell them, give them two choices. Look at your calendar and give them two choices. That lets them know that you're busy. So, you're in this class because you qualified. If you have 10 suspects, and if you turned in 4 suspects, well, you put half your effort in, you get half your effort out. That's all I got to say to you. But if you have 10 suspects, these numbers run true. 5 will have no plan at all. 5 will have a current will or a trust. 4 of the second 5 will not understand what they have, or will have some changes in their life, like relationship changes, asset changes, health changes. Folks, it's a guarantee that that'll happen. All you had to do was identify those 10 avatars and put names to them, which makes them a persona, and convert them to suspects because you thought they would benefit from a conversation with you about their current estate plan. 9 out of 10 people, if you look at what I just said right here, 5, 5, 4, 9 out of 10 people will have that conversation with you if you will only ask and be sincere, and if they know you, like you, trust you. So this is what I want you to say when you do your approach. And if you say it any other way, I can say it in French. Je suis très heureuse de faire votre connaissance. I'm happy to make your acquaintance. I think you would benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. That's why you say. You don't say anything else. Why would you say anything else? And if they give you any feedback and they say, "Why would I want to talk to you?" This is what you say. I have learned that people who had this conversation with me learn things in which they were not. Well, and I've said that to many of you how selfish people are. They're not interested in you. They're interested in what they don't know. They're interested in what benefit they would get from having that conversation with you. If you can't sell them on the benefit, you can't sell them on the appointment. But it's so easy to sell them on the benefit that you're going to have your calendar with you because they're going to want to make an appointment. My book this week is I'm busy. I'm looking for appointments for next week, but this week I'm pretty busy. You know, most of your suspects on your suspect list, these are things they already know. This is a given. This is the terrain you're walking into. It's fertile. They know they need to do this. They think it's going to cost too much. They do not want to take the time to do it. And they have never been properly approached. And here you are coming in well trained, well armed with two of the most simple sentences in the world and your calendar. And you're going to find that some of these people need to talk to you, and they've known they needed to talk to somebody like you for a long, long time. But there's nobody out there knows how to do it except you all. So once they agree, you can send them, you can go to your website, send them a copy of the video of the coming storm. Make sure they have it. See, once you engage somebody in an appointment that might be 8 or 10 days away, you can go ahead and continue the conversation each day with a video. You can continue the conversation a little bit with just drop feeding them information. If you're not doing that, y'all have heard me talk several times here recently about being able and wanting to and willing to. And if you're able to but don't want to, or able to and want to and aren't willing to do it, you're going to fail. And a lot of people bring that mindset to me and say, "Fix me." And when I identify it, the ones who correct it. And then some people just get mad because you told them the truth. But you got to want to do this, and you have to have it on your calendar in your daily activities, what you're going to do with these suspects. You have some of the best videos on your website that have ever been produced on estate planning. Drop feed them. You can either put them on automatic. If you need to learn how to do that, talk to Lisa or talk to me first. And if I think you're really, really, really sincere about wanting to do it, I'll let Lisa help you set up the automations. But don't just say, "I want to do it," if you haven't proven me you have 10 suspects. I'll say no. That's how strict I have to be on this, because people say they want things, but they're not willing to do the work. So that that's just something that that's the rule. So you can't build a proper bridge to the back end sale if you're struggling with a bridge to prospect conversion. If you're trying to make a back end sale without building the environment to get to the back end sale, you're just a danged old product salesman. There's so many people out there that are product salesmen. Some of them do okay, but everybody that follows my process does pretty good or better. So it's okay. Let me try to do something here. There it goes. It's okay not to be able to build a bridge to the back end sale, as long as you're building the bridges of suspect to prospect, prospect to client. And what I'm trying to teach you, again, is some of the marketers across the country, some of the best marketers call it the SIN process. Don't worry about what it's not SIN like you're doing something wrong. It's S like it's superior to what you have been taught in the past. Folks, what I'm teaching you here is superior to what you have been taught in the past. Plus, it's easy to learn and master. So S is then SIN is superior. The I is it's intellectually absorbable, and the N is no brainer. Why would they not talk to you about their estate plan if they think they're going to benefit it and learn from things in which they might not have been aware? You don't have to tell them what you're doing. You just have to do it. It falls in place. So, you know, what I'm interested in doing is teach you and your downline, if you have one, how to prosper with a proper process that leads to conversations about estate planning and funding of those estate plans. So all I want to do, and all I'm trying to do with the folks that are in this meeting today, and you've already qualified because you've shown me that you're willing to develop your suspect list. Let me teach you to be a process professional and not a product pusher. I never know what I'm going to sell from day to day. I don't care. Only thing I'm going to want to sell is an appointment to do the initial interview because everything else falls in line, and as they fall in line, they are different products for each individual. Your first decision is how to make the initial contact. So you've got your suspect list. Do you know them well enough to make a phone call? If you do, then make the phone call. If you're dancing around a little bit and you want to send them a text, it's okay to send them a text. But it's okay to send them an email. It's even okay to send them a handwritten note. But there's a little piece of advice that I've left out of here that I'm going to give it to you right now. Communicate with them in the same media they use to communicate with you. So it's a phone call, don't send them a text, give them a phone call. If it's an email, don't give them a text, send them an email. That's how they communicate. Maybe send them the coming storm video. Then call and tell them why you sent it to them. That's where you use the coming storm before you do the approach. The other one is if you feel comfortable making the approach, then send them the coming storm. Either way works. And when you call them, say, I thought you would benefit from a conversation with me concerning your current estate plan. It really is just that easy to do. So I'm going to tell you a little story here, kind of ashamed of it, but I'll tell you. Having, um, well, not, I'd say 50 years ago, I was invited to go rappelling at Norris Dam. And then there's a big old cliff by Norris Dam. It's about 120 or 200 feet tall. I don't remember. It looked like it was 1,000 feet. But to do that, you have to descend a rock face or other near vertical surface by using a doubled rope coiled around the body and fixed at a higher point. That's called rappelling. And I had never done it before, and I was with people who had done it before. And I'm afraid of heights. I'll be honest, if I'm on a big tall building and I have to look over, I get what I call the heebie-jeebies. I don't know if you all do or not, but I have tall buildings. Sometimes I have a hard time looking down a window on a jet. I can look out at the clouds, but sometimes I get a little funny when I look down and see how high up I am. I watch the others put on the safety gear and back over the cliff for the 200-foot journey to the bottom. It got to be my turn, and all my friends were watching. They were encouraging me to walk off the cliff backwards and to trust the equipment. I was scared. I lacked the confidence, and I wanted to run and hide. My coach said all I had to do was lean backward and start walking down the cliff wall. I had to make 3 decisions. Was I able to do it? Yeah. Did I want to do it? Yeah. Was I willing to do it? Not at first. I don't know if it was a lack of guts or fear of the equipment or what, but I did not want to lean backward over that cliff. So I hooked up and had my coach check everything for security's sake. I listened to his words of encouragement. I was going, yeah, yeah, yeah. I heard my friends chanting, come on down. I was scared. I had no confidence. I looked over my shoulder and saw the cliff, and the people down below seemed so small. Yes, it was the heebie-jeebies. Lean back, said the coach. Trust your equipment and training. He said, everyone has fears the first time. He said, I have taught you well, and there's an experienced belayer below who can control the speed of your descent if you lose control. Well, each step took me closer to my goal. I leaned over that cliff. Oh my gosh, what I had done because I couldn't walk back up. My confidence grew as I got closer to the bottom. And when I got down, the 12-year-old girl who had gone before me asked, "Did you like it? I hope I get to do it again." She trusted the process and saw how easy it was to do. It's easier the second time. The first one was the hardest. You have 10 to learn from. You're in this class because you've told me that you have 10 suspects. That was your ticket to this class. It's easier if you're approaching people who have done business with you in the past, and this is how it should go down. You have selected 10 suspects. They are either already clients or part of the 600 people you already know. Of those 10, 7 will agree to talk to you on a favorable basis if you approach them in one of the ways I described earlier. 3 will buy from you if you do the family tree asset positioning, go to first interview correctly. About the exclamation point there. I will want an immediate back end repositioning interview. I'm sorry. 1 will want an immediate back end repositioning interview within a week, i.e., the back end sale. If not, we should discuss the quality of your suspect. And that's okay. I didn't expect you to be a perfect professional at the first 10 suspects, but we can identify your suspects that aren't working. First thing I would ask is, do they know you, like you, trust you? If they don't meet those 3 on your first initial 10, you have a weak list. Did you say what I taught you to say? If you did, you're going to get 7 appointments. What were their reasons for saying no? Remember, three are going to say no. If they already know you, like you, trust you, you're going to get 3 no's. You might get 4. You should be preparing your second 10 suspects. That means this week you should add 10 new suspects to your suspect list. If not, ask yourself why not. If somebody says no, ask yourself why not. Maybe you let them get away with already having an estate plan. Maybe you stop the conversation right there. But if they say, I've already got an estate plan, you go, that's great. Most people who have an enforced estate plan have gone through a relationship change or an asset change or a health change that makes them want to review it. That's part of the offer that I'm making to you. Let's review what you have. Would you like to make an appointment today? That robot looks a little stressed out, doesn't it? I don't know if it's a he or a she. But this week, this is your only task. You contact those 10 people on your list and ask yourself why you did not contact them. Some of you are in this class the second time because I won't move you into the 11 o'clock class until you've told me that you've contacted those 10 people and told me how many appointments you have. I don't care who they are. I don't need their names. I just need you to be honest with me. Remember, if you saw Star Wars, remember Yoda? Yoda tried to explain to the Jedi that there is no try, only do or don't. I know. That's not Yoda to your left, but the message is the same. So, if you're going to be in the estate planning business, your success is determined by the quality of the suspects you select. Man, read that sentence again, because if you're handing me crap on your suspect list, that's what you're going to get back. Put good names in there. People who know you, like you, trust you, that are willing to make an appointment with you on a favorable basis to discuss estate planning. You put quality in, you get quality out. You put garbage in, you get garbage out. Each time you select new suspects, you'll get better. Soon you'll be getting referrals. I picked up about 6 referrals last week. I probably have time to approach them sometime this week. If not, I'll approach them next week. But your ticket to next week's class, if you want to be in the 11 o'clock class, is the family tree asset positioning go-to first interview. That's what we're going to teach. You need to have a minimum of 1 to 3 appointments, but be careful, you may have 7. Well, figure that out. If you have 7 appointments and you have an hour travel time, and if they don't come into your office and 2 hours for the presentation, that's 21 hours of your week next week. You're cooking because you're going to make some good money. You get this done by Thursday afternoon. Use your spreadsheet sheets to move your suspects to your prospects list. Folks, if they're still sitting there in your suspect list 1 week after you put them on the suspect list, you either don't know how to do it. That's what this class is for. Um, you're not able to do it because maybe you had to babysit or you had other things going on, or maybe physically you couldn't do it, uh, or maybe you didn't want to. You shouldn't send me 10 suspects if you don't want to convert them to prospects. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to anybody. Don't do it to yourself. And you have to be willing to make the attempt. You have to be willing to risk getting the no. Because if you risk getting the no in this first week, you'll get better at it the next week. So don't worry about it. Just as I was backing over that cliff, I had to realize I had the right coaching. I had the right gear. All I had to do was lean back and take the first step. That's what I'm asking you to do. The first step is, now that you've got, it's not the first step. The first step was to identify your avatars and put names on them, which made them a persona, and turn them into suspects. That was the first step. Now, the second step is turn those suspects into prospects. That's why you're here. And what I'm teaching you right now works, but only if you use it. So let's stop right there. Does anybody out there have any questions? Lisa, are there any questions on the list? The questions that you may be having and holding in may be the same questions somebody else is wanting to talk about. Ask your questions. Anybody out there have a question? Lisa, does anybody have a question out there?
No questions in the chat yet, Randall.
Well, all right. So I want y'all to volunteer some answers to my questions. How hard was it to develop your list of 10 suspects? Tell me, Ed Taylor, the problems you had developing your list of suspects.
No problem.
You got them?
Yep.
All right. What's the next thing you need to do?
Call them.
Are you going to phone call all of them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you're not going to text them or email them, or why do you think calling them is the best thing? There's no right or wrong answer, but why did you say I just need to call them?
That's what I've always done. That's how I approach people. I call them.
Okay. Okay. All right. You ever get call reluctance?
Occasionally.
Okay. I used to suffer from call reluctance so bad because I hated to do it. I found it better in my way to pre-approach. Okay. So sometimes I would send them a note and tell them I want to talk to them about their current estate plan, and then that I'll be in touch with them by phone sometime this week. You can do it either way. You're braver than me. Okay. But I always like to lay a little red carpet out for myself. Okay. I like to warn them because I'd rather them tell me, hey, I don't want to do this, as be told on the phone, but see, the mission is how many appointments, how many front end sales, or how many first interviews do you want to have in next week? I don't think you should try to have more than 4 to 6, because the next week, if you implement your suspect process and you get 4 to 6 more, the second week, you're going to have 4 to 6 go-to first interviews and 4 to 6 back-end interviews. And you're going to have some deliveries, and your week's going to fill up real quick. So Ed, I want to ask you a question. I'm going to give you a couple of options, and you can pick one, or you can say none of the above. But one, are you having 7 or 8 appointments for first end and front end sales each week?
Not each week, but I have had a few appointments, and I've made a couple of back end sales.
Okay, so and remember, we talked a little bit about that being your natural tempo. It is a couple of appointments and a couple of back end sales. Is that your natural tempo?
Probably, but I like to increase that.
Okay, so to increase it, all you have to do is increase the activity in which you were successful. Nothing else. So it's either increase the number of people you call or increase the number of people you put on your suspect list or increase the number of appointments that you're willing to have. See how simple that is? And that increases your momentum. You don't want to increase your momentum point that it wears you out. And I've been guilty of that several times, even this summer. Uh, uh, that I get to a point where I have so many things to go on. I told somebody the other day, I don't know if you all seen the movie Saving Private Ryan, but if you have, there's an American sniper that travels with him, and he's really good. And he does one shot kills, one shot kills, one shot kills, until he gets up on a tower where they're getting hit so hard with things that need to happen. And he's trying to get so much done, he starts missing his shots. Don't let that happen. If you see it about to happen, you got to back off. Okay, I'll be honest with you. I've let that happen all the time. Just one more question. That yellow question mark. Do y'all think that looks like a piece of cantaloupe? No, but I just looked at it. That's what I thought. But anyway, okay, Eddie. Somebody else want to volunteer a question? Thank you, Eddie.
Felicia just asked in the chat, is there another class at 11 a.m.?
There is another class at 11 a.m. if you have made an appointment. Felicia, yes, you have. And it would be really good for you to be there. So any of you all who want to attend the 11 o'clock class, I'm going to be talking about the sales presentation, what you want to accomplish in it, and we'll be looking at the agenda. If you think that that's going to be beneficial to you, yes, just tell Lisa you want to attend and she'll send you that link. Okay, so, and it doesn't matter to me how many people show up for that. I'll be happy with one. To be honest with you, I'll be happy with one because I will have someone that has already done the suspect work, has already done the prospect work, and is leading toward that first interview and wanting to make a sale. You know, those are leaders. And it's the leaders that are going to bring the rest of the participants along. They're going to see that other people can do this and can profit from it. So yes, Felicia, Lisa sent her an invitation if she wants to come, and the rest of you can have one if you ask for it. But I'm going to be spending about an hour, not working on suspects and not working on prospects, but working on what you want to accomplish in the front end sale. And you know what? The other 170 licensees that are out there that don't want to spend the time to learn that, it's okay, because I would rather work with 1, 2, or 3, or 4, or 5 people than 170 people that don't follow the process. I hope that makes sense. But anyway, I want you to be there. I want you to learn from what I know. And I want you to make those good back-end sales. I'm going to introduce you to people, the consultants. If you want to meet them, you don't have to meet them. But I'm not going to do that today. Today at 11 o'clock, I'm going to teach solely about the Family Tree Asset Positioning Go-To First Interview. I wrote the book on it. I know how to do it. I have a high closing rate because I do what I teach you to do. So I hope you'll join. Any other questions? Yes, Felicia, please feel welcome to come. Anybody else?
Randall, I put the link in the chat for the 11 a.m. class.
Okay. So any of you all, now I didn't give that link to the folks in the 9 a.m. class. Okay. I don't want them there because they're not ready. They don't have anybody to talk to. I don't want to teach them what to say. I want them to find people to talk to first, using the approach. Think you would benefit from a conversation with me about your current estate plan. I can meet with you Tuesday at 4 or Thursday at 10. And the benefit that you're going to get if you meet with me is you're probably going to learn something in which you were not aware of. That's what happens to most of my clients. So you know, that's the $20,000 question. How do I get an appointment with someone who wants to talk to me about what I want to talk about? Well, you make it a benefit for them to talk to you. I see a second question out there. Is there another question out?
Randall, so Felicia, Mike, and Eddie would like to join the 11 a.m. Eddie says in the chat, please send me the link as well. So I put the link in the chat. Is this okay for you?
It's okay for me. I would love to have them.
Okay.
So And you know what? Those people that want to come, I'll bet you before Halloween is over that they've made a back end sale. And it'll be
Yeah.
somewhere between $6,000 and $18,000 if they're insurance licensed. If you're not insurance licensed, I want to encourage you to get it, but not if you're not able to keep it and not able to benefit from it long term. Don't do it short term. All right. Anything else? Looks like I got time for a cup of coffee and a hand of peanuts before the 11 o'clock class. So unless there's
Okay.
any other question, I might go outside and look at the hummingbirds and the birds. I set up a new bird feeding station right outside the window where I can sit there in my rocking chair and watch the birds. I got a bird identifying book, and I never thought that I would reach a point in my life where that was fun, but it is. So I'm going to do that for a few minutes, and then I'm going to be there for the 11 o'clock class.
Randall,
Yes,
Felicia wanted to know, is this 11 a.m. Eastern? So it is, yes, it's Eastern
Yes.
Standard Time, 11 a.m.
that's right, Felicia. Drink some coffee. I know you're out there in the West Coast, and I appreciate you taking the time to show up. You know, that tells me you're able, that tells me you want to, that tells me you're willing to invest. And those are the, you know, like I said before, if you qualify for all three of those behaviors, you're going to do good at this business. If you don't, if you miss out one of those things, I'm going to tell you, you're probably not going to be successful, because you have to be able, you have to want to, and you have to be willing to get it done. So those are the three things that I measure people on, and those are the people that turn into high income producers. And then not for me, for you. I already know how to do it. I get what I want every month from what I do, and then I stop because I can't. I could just keep on going, but I'm not the Energizer Bunny, and I don't have a battery that lasts the last time. My battery runs low. All right. Anything else?
Nothing
We'll
more on the
see
chat.
those of you who want to be there at 11, be there. I hope you will be. And I'll talk to you in just a little while. Bye.